everybody. This is Alicia Alt with Level Up Score. Thank you guys for being here. So I have a question for you. What if the very things that keep you compliant could also make your business run smoother, faster, and more profitable? That sounds like it couldn't be possible, but I'm going to show you today how that is possible, what you can do to help to be compliant, be efficient, and actually grow your business and make it more profitable. So thank you for being here. I know I have people on the YouTube Live, we got LinkedIn Live, and I think we're also here on Facebook Live. So thank you for being here. And we always post a replay. So in the replay, if there's any resources or anything that I'm talking about in my lives, we'll always put those resources as a link. So again, thank you guys for being here today. I'm very excited to be here. So today's topic is compliance plus efficiency, the new CRO advantage, or the new advantage for anybody that's in the credit or financial space. So how can we be compliant, be efficient, but actually grow and make our business smoother, faster, and more profitable? We all want that, and your clients want that as well. So I want to talk a little bit about that. So some of the challenges for CROs is paperwork, right? We have the TSR rules that are hindering a lot of people. Like, can we call people? Can we consult with people, right? And then clients who forget what you told them. I think that's a big one, right? You tell them, hey, you need to keep your credit monitoring on so that I can actually serve you better. And then they're like, oh, I didn't know you needed it. I thought you just needed it for 1 month, right? So those types of things. So those are some of the challenges I know in my profession I've had over the years. And certainly with the new TSR rule, that's not new, but new to our space and it's been talked about a lot. That was a real um, hiccup for me, right? So I was a credit repair company where you would come into my office and sit down in front of me. And then someone told me, hey, you can't scale your business and really grow your business because there's only so many hours in the day. And so I switched that into telephone. But I remember, guys, I remember sitting there in my office thinking, telephone consultations? Why would anybody work with me or do business with me by talking to me on the telephone? Like they're not going to know me. They're not going to be able to sit and talk to me and we get to know each other. And so I thought that was really a crazy, crazy idea to do over the phone. So you guys know I'm old, so it was a crazy idea. And then when TSR came out, right, and we're all talking about, hey, we can't talk to people on the phone. And then the thought came in my mind, oh my goodness, how is anybody going to buy from me if I can't talk to them on the phone, right? And then as soon as those words came out of my mouth in my conversations, I realized, wait a minute, you said a similar thing when you went from face to face to doing it on the phone. So wait a minute, maybe your thought process is all wrong. And so as I sat back and I thought about that, I thought, man, on the phone, how do you get to know, like, and trust me, right? Most people were visual people, right? We're emotional people. And though I can convey emotion over the phone, if you see my face, that emotion is a lot stronger. Would you agree? Right? So if you are seeing my face and you see my expressions and you see my excitement for you and you see my enthusiasm for your goal and helping you get to your goal, you're more likely to want to work with me because you can sense that I'm genuine, right? And I think that we can say that about everybody. No one wants to be sold to, right? But they want to feel like you have them in your best interest, right? So why do people buy your services? They buy your services because they have a goal and they believe you are the person that's going to help them get to their goal, right? I mean, that's the reason they're buying from you. So if we think about that right now and we put that in perspective, if we do it over the phone, how are they seeing that energy from us? They can't. So they're going to hear it, possibly, yes, especially if we're great at um, being able to express our emotions in our voice, right? But it takes that other element out. So thinking on all that, I sat there and I brainstormed like, oh, maybe, just maybe. I know we can't do Zoom because Zoom is telephone, right? But maybe, just maybe, I can do a recorded video and send it over to them and see how that works. So I started testing that out back in, I believe it was September of last year. Wow, we're already a year from me doing that. And I tested out for several months and I started telling other credit repair companies about what I was doing because I had amazing success with it. So let me tell you a little bit about that. I went from talking to people on the phone, my calendar completely filled up, no breaks. Usually wouldn't even be able to have time to go get lunch or anything. I mean, from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed, consult, consult, consult. And guess what? After that, we have work to do, right? So it's not just about consultations. Hopefully, we have VAs that do a lot of that, but we still have work to do. And so people would look at my calendar like, how do you do this? And I'm thinking to myself, how do I do? I'm not doing well. Like emotionally, my family life, I'm sacrificing so much, but I was so good at what I did, right? And I wanted to give that gift to people because people deserve to get to their goals. And if I have the answer, I'm charged with it is my responsibility if I have the answer to help you get to your goal, that I'm out there helping you get to your goal, right? And I think that anybody who's an entrepreneur in business, if we feel inclined, like I have the answer, then you need to be out there louder than anybody else because you have the answer. Because there's a lot of people in our space and in every industry, right, that don't really have the answer, but are selling to other people that they have the answer. So any of you guys that are listening, I have this movement that I call the Success Boss, and I want you to join the Success Boss movement. I'm going to be talking more about it. I'll put my code of ethics, and if that resonates, if the code of ethics resonate with you, I want you to let me know. I'm going to send you a special gift as being part of the Success Boss movement. But people need you. You credit and financial professionals that are doing it the right way, people need you. We need more of you, right? And so I charge you. If you have the answer to their problem, I charge you, and I don't care what industry if you're in a different industry right now and you're listening to me, I charge you to make sure that you're helping those people because there are a lot of players that are in our industries that aren't actually doing what they say they're going to do. Okay. So that's my big pedestal talk. But the point of me saying that is that TSR became an issue where we're like, oh, how do we even do business? A lot of people in our space went out of business because of TSR. They were scared. They didn't understand how am I going to sell my business? And the only thing they think of is I have to pick up the phone. I don't know any other way. So hopefully I don't get caught picking up the phone, right? And so I do have a class I teach. It's called Mastering Online Consultation. So if you're curious and you're like, oh, I didn't think about this concept, but this makes sense, it's going to give you your life back. It's also going to give your clients more value. They're going to be able to know, like, and trust you better because they can see your face, they can see your emotions, they can see that you're genuine, which is really important, right? That's a gift that we have that we can give. And and then on top of this, you're going to take less time. So if you've been in business for a while, you can probably resonate with this. 30, 45 minutes you're on a call to help explain this whole process to the consumer of how you're going to take them from their goal to, or from where they're at to their goal, right? And so we're talking 30, 45 minutes. And then oftentimes they're like, hey, I have to be real quiet. I'm at work. Or hold on, wait a minute, let me shut the door. Or, oh, shoot, my boss just walked in. Hold on. Or they're at McDonald's ordering McDonald's. People laugh at me all the time, but that is true. That happens all the time. Or they're picking up their kids from school and there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of chaos. Or somebody else is in the car and someone's talking to them too. You know what I'm talking about. All of this is going on while you're trying to have a very important conversation with the person to help them get from where they are to their goal. And so, because it's a very important conversation, you're saying a lot, you're giving a lot, but it's going over their heads or it's not being heard at all, right? So then they have to end the conversation with, "Hey, I feel so bad. You were on the phone with me for 45 minutes and I didn't really understand what you were saying. Or can you send that to me in writing?" Or, all these different things because they didn't hear you. They simply did not hear you. So when you're doing these online consultations, TSR compliant, you will probably take, I know my average consultation on Loom, I do Loom video, is 7 minutes. 7 minutes. So the point of me saying that is that 7 minutes is a lot less than 30 to 45 minutes. But here's the other benefit that my clients got from that. They got to see my face. They got that know, like, and trust. They could see that I was genuine and I cared about it. I care about them and that I had the solution to their goal and I helped them visualize their goal. So if you guys haven't seen the speech that I did for Smart Credit, I do have a recording of that in YouTube. You can watch that. Just kind of my methodology of how I help people get from where they're at to their goal and how I have that conversation with them. Of course, the online consultation course has a lot of that information. but they're seeing that and they get to play it at a time that's convenient for them and they get to replay it if they want. And in that conversation, I'm also talking about, hey, if it makes sense to you, I would like to offer you my services. This is what I can do. This is the cost. This is how you cancel. This is how blah, 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 right? And then I'm inviting them into my process, my journey, right? And so the cool thing about that is now it's all recorded. So the things like, oh, you didn't tell me how to keep, I had to keep credit monitoring on. Oh, you didn't tell me it cost this. Oh, you didn't tell me this was a cancellation policy. You didn't tell me. All of that is in a video that you can say, hey, actually, I have that video. I'll send it to you so you can be reminded, right? And so all of this helps with the compliance thing. So again, our challenges in the credit space is paperwork, right? So all the stuff, reviewing credit reports, understanding credit reports. How do we create a plan for the consumer to get where they're at to their goal? TSR rules, clients who forget what we said, like, or don't even hear us to understand that we have the solution for them, right? And so all of those are challenges that we have. So compliance risk plus wasted time equals stress, right? Would you agree? So if we can simplify this process with being compliant, we can alleviate the wasted time, number one, and the stress. Um, so if Level Up Score, obviously, I'm going to talk about Level Up Score because I am the founder of Level Up Score, but that is one of the things that I had brought to the marketplace because it's something that I was using internally in my business that really changed everything for me. And so the online consultations combined with Level Up Score is kind of like my secret magic sauce of growing my business really fast, but providing huge, huge value to my consumer while I still have time and financial freedom, right? Which is what I lacked before. I had financial freedom, but I couldn't enjoy any of it because I was analyzing credit reports, creating action plans, doing disputes, having all these consultations, right? And now I can literally wake up in the morning and I can spend, let's say I have 10 consultations for that day. It takes me an average of 7 minutes to do it. I'm on video for less than an hour to an hour, right? And I'm done for the day, right? And then I have everything automated with Level Up Score to create the action plans. And so you can see how you can simplify your process, but give huge value, right? And so testing that out in September and through October, and then having other credit repair companies test out and getting their feedback back, it became very clear from the client's perspective as well as to other professionals' perspective, this is the way to do business now. You're going to be more efficient. You're going to be compliant, but you're going to be able to scale a lot faster. So there's some exciting news. We're actually working on with Level Up Score to help you with that consultation process, where we'll be able to give you all your talking points for your consultation process. So that's something we're working on right now, in conjunction with Dustin Ball. So Dustin Ball is the one who brought this idea to me, and I thought, oh, this is great. I've already created the online consultation process, but this takes it a step further to help. So I'm really excited about this project. And Dustin, if you're watching this or seeing this later, know that I'm going to be calling you. But speaking of Dustin Ball, he is having an event. I'm going to post about it, but it is in Texas. So it'll be in Dallas, Texas. So if you're anywhere near that Dallas, Texas area, he is having a live event. And if you guys don't know Dustin Ball, he is an amazing figure and a role model for credit repair organizations and credit professionals and financial professionals of the way you should do it the right way, right? And so I employ you, if you're in that area, you should take that opportunity and have go to this event and get some knowledge, right, on how to do this the right way. Because again, I charge you to really go out there in the world and help these people. Shonda Martin will also be there. And if you don't know her, she's a social media influencer, wonderful, wonderful person. She's just a really great heart, and she'll be there. And I'm sure, I don't know what her topic is, but I have a feeling it might be on social media influencing. But she also talks about this concept of give more to get more, right? And so I really love that. But look out for the information on that. I might, before I end this live, give you the actual date and everything about where it's at. But so when you build compliance plus efficiency into your process, you can stop chasing your clients and start actually leading them. So that's our job as an entrepreneur. We are the leaders to help them get from where they're at to their goal. So we got, I think I have three pillars that I came up with. Yes, I came up with three pillars. So pillar number one, clear deliverables. So something that I learned in my 23 years is that people get buyer's remorse. And you know, because you think about yourself as a consumer. Have you ever bought something and then later sat back, like right after you pay for it, and you're like, was that a good idea? And so when your consumers are purchasing from you of your services, oftentimes they're going back because they know there's a lot of scams in our business, right? They've heard all the horror stories and they're like, man, is he really going to get me to the goal, my goal? Because that's what they're paying you for. Please, I hope that you actually have a process that gets them to their goal. Otherwise, please get out of the business. But we need those people who are actually doing that. Please step up, step up, step up. Okay. But they get buyer's remorse. So you need to be having some clear deliverables to them right away so they can see this and they can say, hey, she actually has my back. So one of the things that I do in my clear deliverables is I actually create that action plan through Level Up Score. I put the client's information and it's automatic. I can automatically have that action plan sent. I can send it through via email and I can send it through text message, but I can also embed in that a video. And that's what I do. So once you purchase my services, I do what I call my initial review, which I do a Loom video and I'm talking about here's your action plan. Here are the top three things that I want you to work on this month. If you can only do one, this is the one, right? And that's kind of the basis of that conversation. And that's usually about my initial reviews, usually a 5-minute video. Okay, so if you want more information, again, the online consultation class would be wonderful for you to see how I actually do all of those steps. But that's my deliverable. That happens within minutes of them signing up for their process with me. And that's really important because I want to deliver to them immediately a plan with my video saying, here's the top three things I want you to work on. Okay. And the reason this is so important is because we need them to trust us. And when they get off that phone, the first thing they're wondering is, and I'll tell you, I have a friend of mine, I'm gonna call her later today, but she asked me to buy something from her and I did. And I got an email that I bought, I got a receipt, but that's all I have from her at this point in time. So I don't even know what I really bought. So my point of saying that is that think about that in your consumer's prospect. If they just paid you money and they got back a receipt that they paid you and they're going to sign this agreement or whatever they're going to do for you, now they're just doing, but you haven't done anything for them. You see where I'm at? Even if you've already started the disputes, that's kind of like that's not transparent. That's like behind the scenes. What can you deliver to them right away? And that's why I employ you to use Level Up Score and give them that action plan within minutes of them signing up. And you can also send that to the referral source so that you can keep them in the loop. And that's a whole nother story that you'll see in the online consultation class. But that first pillar is these clear deliverables that we need to be giving. So a couple of the features of Level Score, I don't like to talk about my own product that much, but I think this is very key to helping your consumers feel like you got their back and you're really helping them right away, immediately, because we're immediate society now, right? But some of those things that we have is auto-generated action plans sent each month. So you can have it automatic. It gets to them every month. Every time they have a new credit report from like, your smart credit platform or My Free Score Now or whoever you're using for your credit monitoring, when there's a new free credit report available, Level Up Score is going to grab it, pull it in, create the action plan, send it out. Your hands off. Okay. So the really cool thing about that is then for sure they're getting their deliverable every single month without you having to push a button, without you having to have staff, without anybody forgetting, right? It's going to be sent out. But the other cool thing about Level Up Score is we're going to create this action plan, right? It has everything that you need to do. But what do we do after that? Well, every month they're going to get a change report. It says, here's what you've accomplished. Congratulations. We're congratulating them. We're ticking down. If you had 10 action steps today, maybe you have 5 the next time. We're ticking those down so they can see and feel that success, right, that they're building. And of course, if there's an error or something that happened that negatively impacted their score, we're going to notify them that as well as an alert. Hey, this is an alert that we need to look at. This happened. Shows when we show when we sent the plan. So you have a time-stamped date of when the plan was created, what credit report date was created with that plan. And then also, if you're sending it through Level Up Score, you actually get to see if the client viewed it. So now you have this compliance tracker inside a Level Up Score to say, hey, I delivered my goods to you. And I have record that I did that. And I see that you haven't looked at it. right? And so you're going to push that responsibility back onto the consumer where it lies, because you guys can't do anything. You can put a program together with the path to help them get to their goal, but they're going to be the doers in all the mix, other than maybe the dispute letters, right? They are the doers. You are the program provider, the expertise, and they are the doers. So it's important that you really give that responsibility back to them. And through these action plans, you're able to do that, right? So we have the change reports to show completed versus uncompleted steps. We're going to track removals, corrections to the credit report. They're going to be able to see those tangible results in their action plan. And of course, you can embed those videos, record it one time. You have record that you did that. And if they come back and say you didn't say something, you have that record of that video, which is really cool. Talking points. This makes you the guide, not the bad guy. The responsibility is visible, shared, and documented. So that's the really cool thing about having those clear deliverables right from the beginning. So that's pillar number one. Let's go on to pillar number two. Documented processes. So compliance equals TSR requires clear agreements, no upfront promises, documented disclosures, right? So we need to make sure we have those in place as well. So what are they signing? When did they sign it? Do you have record of them signing that, right? So making sure you have those and having those in place and stored. Efficiency plus your automations means that you don't have to repeat yourself. So this is really important. This is where level up score is amazing. You don't have to look at the credit report and analyze it. You just have to know what the client's goal is, put that into level up score, let level up score do the job, and then anyone, whether they know credit repair or not, are able to look at that action plan and know what to speak to the consumer about. So now you can have staff that you don't have to train about all the things of credit, which I don't know if you've ever done that, but oh my goodness, is that a hard feat to do? And I've never 100% been successful in teaching someone to be, my brain, except for level of score. So you don't have to do that anymore, right? So you can have people who can regurgitate that information, if you will, from that action plan. So that's really helpful. And then you start to create systems around like questions. If your consumer has a question, how do we answer that question before they have the question, right? And so that's a really big part of my process in any business that I've owned. I've owned a lot of businesses in my days. And the one thing that I always look for is I interview my clients and I interview those who are referring to me and anybody in my sphere, right? I'm interviewing them all the time. I'm looking for what questions they have. Because if I can figure out a way to answer their questions before they have questions, then number one, my job is easier. I don't have to repeat myself all the time, right? I don't have to answer the same questions because I've solved that in my processes. So I challenge you to really start looking at that and seeing what questions are asked, start writing those down, throw them in chat GBT. Got this question, got this question, got this question. How do I solve for this so I don't have to answer these questions all the time, right? And of course, some things that we're doing with Level Up Score is going to alleviate a lot of the questions that you're going to have to answer anyway. But you definitely want to have that. I do recommend, again, that mastering online consultations. If you're new to this concept and you haven't done it before, I do recommend that you look at that video or that class, I should say, and it has all the materials that go with it. Just because if you're new to it, having a structure and understanding the process. So I have like my system and what that process is going to really help you put this into play in your own business. Okay. TSR compliant, obviously no live phone calls, no miscommunication. And that's really great with these online consultations. You're doing a video so they can't say you said something you didn't say, which is really nice. I don't answer my phone. So people are like, how do you have a successful business and you don't answer your phone? And it's one, I've answered their questions before they have questions, so I have a lot less phone calls. So I don't have to answer the phone. But then the other part of it is because I do everything on video, they have the opportunity to see that anytime. So even if they call and ask a question, my response back is typically in a video. And then I'm solving for how do I not have that question again? Okay, does that make sense? So these consultations can take 7 minutes or less instead of 30 to 45 minutes. It's recorded, so the client can watch them anytime. Saves you time, saves you stress, and you have proof of what you said and what you shared. So instead of a phone call that disappears, you have a documented, repeatable, convenient. How would you feel if you had 20 consultations today and you didn't have to hire a VA or have to worry about someone else selling your service? But because you went to this online consultation process, you woke up early in the morning, did your millionaire morning challenge, And then after that, you jumped onto Loom. This is my day, guys. This is my day. I jumped onto Loom and did all your consultations. And then before 10 o'clock, you were done with your day. I'm going to get to do the needle moving activities in your business, the things that are really going to help grow your business, not the consultations, right? We think the consultations are going to help grow our business, but that's not how it works. Okay. And so I just want to share that with you. Okay. So pillar number 3, automated transparency. Compliance equals clients need visibility into their journey. They want to know. So if you're out there and you're doing disputes and you're saying, hey, I'm going to handle these disputes, this is what I'm doing. They don't see the disputes because you don't want to show it to them because you're like, that's my proprietary information, right? Or whatever that might be. The less transparent you are with your consumers, and I get it because people steal, right? They don't pay you, they take your stuff and they steal. I get it. I get it. But the majority of people aren't that way, right? And the more that we can be transparent, the better we're going to be trusted, the better authority we have, right? So I employ you to consider that transparency, but and then they have the action plan. They know what they need to do. They're not left in the dark and you just doing disputes, or 2 days later you're providing an action plan they got started 2 days ago, 48 hours later, 72 hours later. That's not fair. You wouldn't like that, right? Especially most of our clients come to us, they're urgent, right? I need this tomorrow. And then we wait 3 days to give them a plan of things that they can do. So just consider that. Efficiency equals no more repeating updates, right? So you want to alleviate the repeating tasks. What are the repeating tasks? How can we automate those? How can we answer questions before questions are asked? That kind of stuff. So obviously some of the transparency features that we have built inside of Level Up Score is the tick down process tracker that shows actions completed versus the missed actions. Automated congratulation messages to motivate clients without the manual work from you. Clients see what's corrected and removed. This is going to build trust. And video reviews plus the reports actually create accountability, and not just accountability on your side, but accountability for their own actions and their own responsibilities. So we get to push on the responsibilities. And how beautiful is it if they're looking at their action plan this month and it tells them to pay down a credit card, and instead they add more to it, their score goes down, and the action plan next month tells them about that. And then they can directly see the relationship between what their actions do and what the results are. And so they're learning. People don't like to learn everything. So I used to go into universities and teach about credit 101 to everybody. And I thought everybody wants to know about credit because I did a survey and everyone said they want to know about credit. But when I get in these universities and talk to the students, it was like their attention span on it was very, very small. And then what I learned when I would give them action plans and go in and teach them specifically on them themselves, like what's going on their credit report and what they need to do. Oh, full attention, because we want to know and understand more about ourselves. We don't need to know everything about credit. We want to know more about ourselves. And so that's why some of you guys, and I know some people are like, oh, I created this course on Credit 101 and it's not doing really well and I don't get a lot of buyers, or they buy it, but they don't actually go through the process. Why? Because unfortunately, in our culture, we want to know more about ourselves. And if we're seeing Credit 101 and a lot of that stuff doesn't apply to us, or not specifically talking to us, then we're not as likely to consume the content, right? And we're not as likely to follow through with the content on the classes. So that's the one really cool thing about Level Up Score. It's giving them what they need, specifically what they need to get them to their goal. So I want to give you just a little bit of background about me, because I think this will hopefully resonate with you guys. Maybe not. Hopefully it doesn't resonate. You're like, no, I never enjoyed this, Allie. But I've talked to a few people about this in my career. So I started as a teacher, an elementary school teacher, and I loved being a teacher, but I had a really hard time dealing with children that were abused. Okay. So much so that when I was in an environment, because there's not a lot a teacher can do when they know about abuse except for report it, which I've had to do in my career. It's something I couldn't sleep at night. Like literally couldn't sleep for days and days if I heard of or knew of a child being hurt. And even if I saw it on the news, like I can't sleep at night, something that's really bothers me. So long story short, I end up getting laid off from being a teacher. And I thought, oh, maybe this is a blessing. the stress levels of dealing with child abuse and neglect were really taking a toll on my emotional body. And so I was at a bar and this guy comes up to me and he's in the mortgage industry. And he's like, yeah, we're actually hiring for someone to do some marketing work. And full transparency here, guys, I didn't even know how to spell the word mortgage. Okay. And anyway, I went in to be interviewed by him because I'm like, I gotta do something. And he was talking all this jargon and he gave me this long sheet of paper of like all my responsibilities, everything I needed to know. I got the job. Okay. Walked out. I went home and I started crying. I'm bawling, crying because I'm looking at this paper. I don't know anything of what he just said to me. Okay. So nothing. I was like completely like, I don't even know what this means. So I started crying. But anyway, a long story short, I got into that industry and I became very successful very fast. I became a first-time homebuyer specialist at one point, managed the mortgage company. And then I found this other need, and that was the need of people coming in and being denied for credit and listening to them say stuff like, if someone would just tell me what I need to do. And the teacher inside of me was like, ding, 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 ding. Yeah, that's not fair. If you have a problem, someone should tell you how to fix the problem. But as loan officers, we don't do that because we get paid commission, right? And so I started this whole department. I did credit repair for free for 2 years, and I started writing this algorithm. If this happens, then this happens. If this happens, then this happens. If I don't do this, this happens. And I created this whole long, I mean, thousands of pages long. Okay. And that was my brain, if you will. So I did credit repair for free for 2 years. And then I started actually providing the service as a paid service. And my business just started growing like crazy. I had other loan officers sending me business, real estate agents. I was just really known for this. But I would get up at 3:45 a.m. I would journal. I would do my millionaire morning journal challenge that you guys probably have heard of. I would do that. And then I would go into my office with my cup of coffee, which I'm going to take a drink. I'd go into my office and I would sit there and work from that time until 9 p.m. at night. And at 9 p.m. at night, I would get up from my desk and I would walk into my bedroom and go to sleep. And that was my day. And that was even Saturday and Sunday. So I want you to picture this for those of you who are looking to scale and grow your business. It's not all beautiful, right? I literally sacrificed my life for that. But I knew that people needed, I heard it all the time, Allie, everybody needs to know about you. You're the real deal. You're going to help them get to their goal. And I was, and I knew that. But I was pouring out so much of myself, and I was actually neglecting the people that were really important to me in my life, and I was really neglecting myself. So I wasn't able to give as much to the people who I love, right? And so the idea of creating this software level score, which you currently see, popped in my head. And since then, like I said, I'm able to have a life now. So I have very successful businesses, but I'm able to have a life. And that's what I want for you guys, that time and financial freedom, but also that you're giving your clients so much value that you don't have to worry about the issues with compliance or TSR, or you can do it the right way, make a lot of money, pour in a lot of value into your clients, really help them get from where they're at to their goal. What a beautiful thing to have it all. And you actually can have it all, but you're going to have to be okay with automating things. You're going to have to be okay with letting go of the ego and saying, hey, I can actually be better for my clients by making sure that I have systems in place, doing online consultations, making sure that I have action plans, that I'm giving deliverables right away, immediately to my consumers, all these things, right? And so I really hope that story resonates with you. If you're bogged down, man, this is just too much. I don't want you to leave the space. I want you to figure out a way to make it not too much. And if you need to contact me, feel free to do that. And if you're out there and you're listening to this and like, well, I don't even have that many clients. I need that. I need that problem. Well, I don't want you to have that problem exactly, but doing it this way will also help you to grow your business, because you can spend more time working on and solving for how to get those new clients rather than doing all of the work. And some people say, well, I'm going to do all the work for right now because, I don't have that many clients, and why not? Yeah, I think you need to know what you're doing, but I don't think that you need to sit there and say, I don't have many clients, so I'm just going to do it myself. Like, that's where you start to get stuck. And so go ahead and create those automations. And because otherwise you start to grow really fast, like I did, not knowing it was going to happen that fast, no automations, no systems. Of course, when I started, guys, there wasn't software. And so then you get burnt out really fast. So just keep that in mind. Let me see. So here's what I got. This is where I'm going to leave you at. I'm going to ask you a couple questions I want you to consider, and then I'm going to give you a call to action. Okay. So here's my questions. Where are you wasting the most time in your business? Is it client updates? Is it consultations? Is it paperwork? And if you feel comfortable, you can email me. Let me know your answer to that question so we can help solve for that. But you can also put it in the comments. I would love to see that. Next question, how would it feel if clients could see their progress without you lifting a finger? And that's where Level Up Score comes in. How would that feel? Like, I know the day that Level Up Score worked for my business, because I was using Level Up Score for quite a while before I opened up to the market to you guys. But the day that it worked, I actually fell out of my chair crying because I knew at that instant that now I was going to have a life. And if you guys have been there, or if you're there, then I implore you to have that same feeling. Like, use Level Up Score and see how that feels, because it was the most empowering thing that I could have experienced at that moment. Was I like, oh, I can still give what I want to give to the world without sacrificing my own, right? And so it was just a beautiful day, and I literally fell out of my chair crying. And I think I called everybody that knows me at that point in time. How would that feel for you? If you could give this extreme value to someone without you actually having to lift the finger, okay? And I'll close with this. Compliance isn't red tape, it's your credibility. And when paired with efficiency, it's also your speed. So if you have not already done the Mastering Online Consultation class, or you're not doing online consultations yet and you're like curious, please, we'll put a link on there on how you can get into that class and learn about that and get all my toolkit. And then the other thing is if you're not automating, start looking at all the ways you can automate and how do I answer a person's question before they have a question. If you have any questions about how to do that, or would like to kind of get feedback from me, I'd be more than happy to do that. I appreciate you all. I think I had a longer live than I normally do. Next week, though, it's going to be really important. I am going to discuss how I grew my business, like specifics. So you don't want to miss that, like what I actually did to grow my business. And again, like you guys know, I want to pour into you. I want you to grow. If you are a success boss, and I'm going to be putting up the code of ethics. If you resonate and you say, yes, I am that, please continue to follow me, because I will pour into you and help you grow your business, because I feel charged with helping as many people out there to be success bosses and really help consumers get to their goal. We need more of you. It's not taught in school. And even if it was, it's over their head because it's not specific to them, right? So thank you for being here on this live today. We will have a replay, so watch out for that.